I believe in sitting next to trees. I like the way that they lean. Trees have never looked mean, not to me. I believe in sitting next to trees because they understand that to survive in this God-given world, you need a hard exterior, a coating of jagged, interlocking armour to cover your vulnerabilities, with roots thick to gather all your necessities, growing with immense haste to hold on to what you need most before someone else comes to boast. Love, water and food. Trees foster this all. Denying their glory. Why, you must be feeling sorry. Calling tree huggers fools. Why, you must be such a tool. Can't live without them, don't you know? Must be some real cognitive dissonance cutting down 42 million with each passing day. That day that simply flew by and you don't know where the time went, as my mother would say. 42 million trees were cut down that day. Hello. My name is Leopold Smotherington Dickens Smythe, the third, and I like trees. I grew up in Sandy, Bedfordshire, England. It was a town with little going for it. The local lunch place was called the Town Friar, and it was closed more than it was open. The most pristine Indian place sold half of its space to a Domino's pizza place that hired all of the teenagers who were willing to ride bikes up and down town, filled to the brim with food orders. The only sparks of character were the gigantic woods 1.5 miles north of town, the Sandhills. That and the train station, whose old iron tracks stretched all the way to London. I think that deep down, everyone secretly agreed that the town was simply just a bit crap. The kids knew it especially. We rebelled against the school rules and were often a frustrating source of anarchy. Disturbingly, however, Sandy Place Academy was always more concerned with our uniforms than where our hands were travelling to and at what speed. My mates and I would ride on our bikes, none of which earned Insta likes, with tools in sacks strapped haphazardly to our backs to fill the lacks from the monotonous bore of all the brick and concrete. I am certain every sensible parent took a sharp intake of breath as their backs straightened bolt upright, as 3, sometimes 5, kids wearing full-face helmets with shovels visibly poking out of our bags just rolled on by. To quote All Right by Supergrass, we are young, we wear green, keep our teeth nice and clean, see the sights, see our friends, feel alright. The entrance to the Sandhills was a moss-covered wall that served only to keep cars out. Everything else was fair game. Once inside, we'd dig pits and ramps and jumps and ride until we could ride no more. The exhaustion never bothered me. I was having too much fun. Plus, our speaker was too loud to let whole thoughts settle inside our heads. Being bombarded by Queen kept me from noticing that we were really doing manual labour at the command of Matthew, the self-proclaimed leader of our little group, for no compensation whatsoever. 2 benches offered a place to rest heavy legs and bikes. Me and my friend Will spent countless hours sitting on the right-hand bench. It gave a truly unbeaten view of the town below. The open expanse that stretched to the horizon and shrunk humanity to an ant size made it hard not to think about the big picture. I don't believe officers have ever invited such reflections on the words, "What am I doing here?" As Will and I sat on the bench, a comfortable distance away from the edge, staring out to the horizon, I would compare the compact housing with the expanse of trees that shielded our backs from the elements. Grey, black, brown and white were the colours of the town below, but the trees were evergreen. If the trees that gave Sandhills a sense of intrigue to all of those looking in from behind its entrance had been deemed valuable lumber, I shudder to think of what would have become of them. Thankfully, they weren't, and Sandhills stands to this day.
My beliefs are supported by the statistics and claims presented in the video Loneliness by Kurzgesagt, a reputable source of enjoyable entertainment who are rigorously thorough in their research. Loneliness gives useful analytical insight into the growing loneliness epidemic that affects more of us than we may feel comfortable to admit. I believe in sitting next to trees because I've never enjoyed the company of parking lots, overgrown 4x4s, or the repulsive smell of car fumes. I also believe that a serious factor in this epidemic is the reduction in access to the third place, the social surroundings that are separate from the two usual social environments of home, the first place, and the workplace, the second place.
I believe in sitting next to trees because they do not care about your grades, or how glimmering your hair flows, or how quickly you can make muscles grow. A tree simply asks that you look after it the way you would yourself. I hold my belief so dearly to my heart, since I know that sitting next to trees is one of the few experiences that make me feel alive, and not a smaller system in a far larger machine. I believe in sitting next to trees because I believe we should take the time to enjoy our lives.